Hi, Amy here from the Busselton Jetty with our third education module. So this is plastic pollution and conservation. If you don't have your worksheet ready to go, pause the video and download it from our website and then come back, okay? So make sure you've got that there. So this module is all about conservation and pollution in our oceans. So here at the Busselton Jetty, we have our Busselton Jetty Environment Foundation, and our organisation is tasked with preserving and protecting the marine environment under the jetty and in the wider Geograph Bay. And part of that is educating you, our amazing young people, about how to conserve and protect our oceans. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the problems that our oceans are facing right now, and in particular, plastics. So, as you are probably aware, plastic is a very big problem in our oceans. Right across the world, we spend a lot of time using single-use plastics and then discarding those plastics. And if they're not disposed of properly or recycled properly, quite a lot of that ends up in our oceans. Now, first of all, the large plastic itself poses many problems to our marine life. A lot of the time, it actually appears like food, to be honest. So in my bottle here, I've got what looks like a jellyfish, which things like turtles love to eat. But this jellyfish in here is actually a plastic bag. So if a turtle consumes what they think is a jellyfish, and it's actually a plastic bag, then it causes them all sorts of problems. Once they try to digest it, it can get stuck inside, and it can definitely cause them many problems. It can even mean that they die. So we need to be very careful with what we are discarding and what we're putting in our oceans. Another one that we have to be wary of is these balloons. Quite often, we release amazing helium balloons into the air as part of a celebration, but what a lot of people don't realise is once those balloons actually end up bursting, they come down into our oceans, and once again, they resemble types of food that our marine life like to eat. So again, in this situation, it's like a jellyfish, a plastic jellyfish. But instead, this one is actually a rubber one, a rubber jellyfish that the balloon has created, and again, causes many problems for our marine life. But it's not just these large types of plastic that are a problem. We also have microplastics in our oceans. So plastic is very, very hardy. It takes a lot for it to actually go away, and a lot of it is never ever going to go away. But in our cold, dark oceans with salt water and exposed to UV and other things, the plastic actually breaks up into smaller and smaller pieces. And some of those small pieces are even too small to be seen by our eyes, only by microscopes, hence why they're called microplastics. As this plastic breaks up, there is toxins released into the ocean from that process, and these little microplastics floating around in the ocean, making a bit of a plastic soup, also absorb toxins that are already in the water. So when organisms in our marine environment digest or eat these microplastics, it ends up poisoning them. And the small little ones that absorb it first are then eaten by something bigger and something bigger again. So these toxins from the plastic are going up and up our food chain, and it's causing many problems for our marine life. We also have these weird little things called Noodles. So Noodles are actually how plastic is produced in the first place. So they're the first version of plastic that companies then melt down to make all sorts of things like plastic bottles. These Noodles, when they're manufactured, very easily end up in our marine ecosystem, and these are one of the ones that really do absorb and suck in all of these toxins, And then, as you can see, they might resemble maybe eggs, fish eggs or something like that, that other marine life like to eat, and they end up getting poisoned from the plastic noodles. Now, all of this sounds very depressing, I know, but I want to talk to you a little bit about what you can do to help, and your family and your friends. So every year here at Busselton Jetty, we actually do a beach cleanup, and it's part of the Tangaroa Blue Marine Debris Survey. And we submit our results, and every year it goes into all the results for all the cleanups across Australia. But in particular, we keep very close eye on the results for Geograph Bay. Now, I just want to let you know that for our marine environment here in Geograph Bay, and particularly Busselton Jetty, the largest by far marine debris is actually fishing line. So fishing line causes us a big problem here in Geograph Bay. If you are a fisherman, if your mum or dad or granddad or grandma goes out fishing, make sure you encourage them to take their line with them to dispose of it properly, because the fishing line in our environment does cause lots of problems. It injures our wildlife. We have a beautiful sea lion that comes and visits us all the time here at Busselton Jetty, and just last year she found herself tangled in fishing line and a squid jig, and it took a lot of hard work from marine rangers and jetty staff to help her out, and she's only just now free of that fishing line, but she is okay. Other things we find a lot of here in Geograph Bay, plastic packaging. So food wraps, stuff like Glad wrap and little like packets from your chips and things like that. We find a lot of these broken plastic pieces, but also things like lids. So lids from single-use bottles is something that we come across quite a lot. Plastic bags from the supermarket, or like garbage bags and things like that. And these guys, drink bottles. So single-use plastic bottles are still a very common thing to be found around Geograph Bay. Now, as I was saying, it's not all doom and gloom. There is definitely something you can do. This is one of my favourite sayings. If you can't reuse it, refuse it. So what we're encouraging you to do, and for you to encourage your friends and family, is instead of single-use items, like a one-time water bottle, plastic cutlery if you're eating takeaway, a straw, plastic straw, or even a toothbrush, which I know you don't use once, you use quite a few times, but it is a plastic one that ends up getting thrown out. Coffee cups as well are another one that's a single-use item we need to try and refuse. So instead, we have things like reusable coffee cups, reusable water bottles. You can buy reusable straws, and if you think about your lunchbox or your snacks that you're having at home, get some little containers. And instead of the tiny little individual packets, you can use a big packet, which is less plastic, and use your little containers instead. So there is lots of different things we can do, and that we can encourage our friends and family to do to try and help our environment. So what I would like you to do is to go away and work on your worksheet, but also start a list. Start a list of things that you can do. What's the change that you can make? Have a look around your house. Your kitchen's a good place to start, and see if there's something that you can replace with a reusable item instead of a single-use one. That's my challenge to you. If you'd like some more information, some more activities to do, we've got some really great storybooks around environmental themes in our online store. So go and have a look and see if you might like to get yourself a storybook that you can read for yourself, and maybe read to your brothers and sisters or your mum and dad, and help them learn a little bit more about protecting and preserving our oceans and our marine environment. That's all I've got for now, guys. If you're interested in our other modules, there's a marine life one, and there's also a history and heritage of Busselton Jetty, so make sure you check those out too. Bye.